Congratulations, you've just gotten approved for disability benefits. I've had a couple of people ask me this question, so I'm going to pose it. Should I start preparing for CDR now? The answer to that question is this: yes, no, maybe. And I know this is going to sound great, but this is what I tell people. Yes, you should prepare for it, meaning prepare for the reality that you're going to get one. No, you shouldn't prepare for it in the sense of, I got to make sure I'm all the way live so that when they come around again, they won't stop my money. No, that's not what it means. Maybe. When I tell people maybe, I say, this is what I mean. Look at your condition. The reality is there are very few conditions that are going to improve. You know, I've had people who've had cancer, full-blown AIDS, the whole nine, and I tell them, listen, the reality is this. A continuing disability review is just a determination of whether you're going to be found disabled in a continuing mode. Do they still believe you're disabled? The reality is, if you're sick, your main focus should not be trying to do what you need to do to keep them checks coming in. Your focus should be trying to get healthy. Because the reality is, most people would rather work. Focus on getting healthy. And guess what happens when you focus on getting healthy? You keep going to where? The doctor. So keep going to your doctors and doing what you're supposed to do. Now, for those of you who have been blessed to receive a fairly lump sum, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your finances. I don't run your house. You don't run mine. So I can't tell you what to do with your paper when you get it. And there's a lot of times, by the time you get your back pay, the wheels have fallen completely off. You've probably lost your home. You've probably lost your car. You're probably living on a couch somewhere. You're probably staying with family members. Things are tight. You got all kinds of people looking for money from you, and you're freaking out. I tell people, if it's possible, set aside about $3,000, $2,500, $3,000, if you can. And they're like, well, why? Because guess what's going to happen? If you're found that you're no longer disabled, you might want to fight. But a lot of times what people will do is they'll want to keep their benefits going while they're fighting it. So I tell people, if you can, keep a couple of $1,000s earmarked so that you can hire an attorney. So this way you can say, hey, I got $3,000. Is that enough for you to represent me in this case? This way you've got a couple of money that you can use, because I've seen it done a couple of ways. I've seen where people have said they've gotten family members to use their credit cards, or they'll take money out of their monthly check. But I'm like, listen, when you got this big windfall, take that money. Go get a bank account. Don't get a debit card or anything on the account. Stick the money there if you can. You know, I know it's a little difficult if you got SSI. And even SSI money, you could probably do that if you put it into what is called a special needs trust. Just a trust account that you could set up so that this way you're not touching it. And it's solely for the purpose of basically paying for, if you get retain an attorney. This is why you might want to check an elder lawyer in your area, somebody who can set up those trusts for you. I say all that to say this. Your focus should be on your health. It really should. Focus on your health. If you focus on your health, everything else will fall into play accordingly. Guess what? When they do a review, they're going to be looking at your medical evidence. Well, if you're still focusing on your health, you're going to have medical evidence. So that becomes very important. Put a couple of dollars to the side, because you know what? If you got benefits for yourself the first time and you don't want to hire an attorney, then don't do that. But I'm just saying, if you are at a point where your medical condition is worse and you're worried and you don't want to go through the rigmarole again, have a couple of dollars. So that this way you can go to an attorney and say, hey, here's a couple $1,000. Will that work? This way you've covered yourself accordingly. Prepare for the reality that you are probably going to get reviewed. But your main focus needs to be on your health and doing whatever you can to get back out in the workforce.